Hi, I'm Dawn Montefusco, life coach for writers and creatives, and this is Write Your True Stories, how to use your story to grow your business, inspire millions, and leave a legacy. And today I have a very special guest, Lloyd Burnett. Lloyd Burnett is a life coach, spiritual teacher, and writer. He supports healing professionals in getting their gifts out into the world and accessing their inherent right to abundance. Lloyd offers free trainings on how to harness the power of your fear and limiting beliefs so that you can effortlessly manifest financial security, deep love, and success. Yay! Hi, Lloyd.
Hi, your enthusiasm is so contagious. I love it. I'm just like listening to you talk and I'm just getting so psyched and pumped and like, ah!
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, tell us a little about what you do and any projects you're working on.
Okay, so as you said, I am a life coach, a business coach, manifestation whiz. And what I do is, it's interesting. My work is shifting a lot right now. I started off a lot in the manifestation realm and supporting people in healing any type of blocks that they have to manifesting the success that they want in their career or love or abundance. And in the past year, my work has been shifting to include that and also more structural work, because I realized that after we move these blocks, things have to actually happen. We have to meet the universe and we have to we have to cha-cha-cha with the universe. We got to do something. It's not all about closing your eyes and hoping to wish something. So my work right now is holding people in their healing and also holding them in building the strategy and implementing the strategy to manifest and catch all of the things that they want to experience in their life. So doing the healing and building the systems that will catch all of the manifestations that they want to experience.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. You have like one foot in each realm, because if we don't, you're great, because we'll go to you to figure out how to blend those realms.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not one or the other. It's like I've tried both on their own, and I tried just the spiritual work, putting myself in a cave and doing the meditating and crying and journaling and feeling the pain and freaking out. And that's great. It's totally necessary, but you don't really make any money when you're doing it.
You can't help others unless you actually do. People underestimate the power of generosity that you're able to have.
Yeah.
Link those together.
Exactly. And it's just the fact that if we're in survival mode, it's impossible for true inspiration from the heart to birth itself, because we're worrying about how we're going to pay our bills or how we're going to do this or how we're going to do that. I have a friend who she last year, she rocked my world with something. She said she does 2 big summits a year, and each summit brings in around 300 to 500K. And she says, in January, I do my first one and I have almost 500K in the bank account. She was like, you know how creative I can get for the rest of the year with 500K in my bank account? It's like, I don't have to worry about doing anything. I just kind of allow whatever wants to come through me to come through me.
Yes. I know I have as a writer, and people know me, I'm a poet and a writer, and I have a lot of writers and a lot of creatives out there. And again, with that kind of abundance, the creativity does flourish. And I think to some degree, creatives and artists, we think like, oh, that's going to take me away from my art. But in actuality, it can bring you closer to your art.
Yes, it sure does. It sure does. And it makes you more open, because your mind and your energy isn't as focused on day-to-day survival. So you're able to receive the inspiration.
Speaking of day-to-day survival, tell us a little about your story, because you and I both come from a rather rickety background, I'll say. And we kind of learn our lessons through this process. So tell us a little bit more about your story and how you got to where you got, and share that a little bit.
So, yes, you're absolutely right. I do come from a rickety background. A lot of things have happened. And I'll tell you specifically my story within my business and how that relates to how I grew up. So I knew that I was going to be a coach. I knew that I was going to help people and support people in living their best life. But the road was full of a lot of roadblocks. I remember first trying all of the strategy. I put everything into place. I followed all of the free webinars and stuff like that. And I had this expensive system, and I opened everything and nothing happened. It was crickets. Nobody bought anything. And I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do? And so I started doing some of the healing work, and like I was saying earlier, going into that cave and meditating. And I was like, okay, now I'm ready. And still nothing happened. And I was just like, all right, what is going on? And it got to a point where I hit rock bottom. I had no money left. I had to leave my apartment because I couldn't afford it. I moved back in with my parents, which my parents they're great people, they're absolutely great people. But being almost 30 and moving in with your parents is something that really hurts.
Totally.
And I'll never forget, I was driving to meet a friend.
And as a man.
Exactly. Yes.
That's a different thing on altogether. Yeah.
Of course, that masculine energy that wants to provide and wants to be focused and depends on the energy of his career is like really wounded in that moment. So I was driving to meet a friend, and my friend was going to buy me a drink because I couldn't afford to buy a drink for my own birthday. As I was driving, I heard these questions in my mind. I heard, why do you want to manifest a lot of money? Why do you want to manifest being on Oprah? Why do you want to manifest, having millions of people read your work? And at first I thought it's because I want to help others, because I want to, be there to support people. And I heard, ask it again. And I asked the question again, and I realized that I wanted all of these things to prove that I was worthy of love.
Oh, wow.
Prove that yes, to say to I went to Dartmouth College, the Ivy League school, and all of my friends are investment bankers, doctors, and lawyers. I wanted to prove to them that I was worthy of still being in that club. I wanted to be able to buy my parents a house so that they can say, Lloyd, we're so proud of you. You're so worthy of love. I wanted to feel this void that started in childhood, going through a lot of the things that I went through, having a father who was addicted to drugs, having to get a job at a really young age because I wanted to support my family in food, getting food to eat. And that created kind of these patterns and these wounds of I'm not good enough. I need to do things or amass wealth to be good enough. And so I decided to do some healing work around these wounds and these voids of I'm not good enough, and I need to have money to be good enough. I need to have money to be powerful enough. And as I started doing this work, I started manifesting from a place of more consciousness. And things like it feels like it was overnight because it happened in an instant where I had my first 10K day, but there was a lot of work that went into that to get to that point. But once it happened, it felt like it was instantaneous.
It's funny, I have a line someone taught me, I don't know, whenever in the last 10 years of all the coach workshops and stuff. They said, oh yeah, people are overnight successes. It just takes them 20 years.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, people don't realize how much, I'd say padding, I don't know if that's definitely not the right word, but the backstory to the pop, you know? And the beauty of the pop is that once the pop happens, and it can be for other things too, the past changes. Past changes instantaneously to being, that's what all that was for. It's not like, I was on this long road and da da da. It's like, cool, here I am.
Yeah, that is so important, because that's what I realized with my story, is that I had to go through all of these things to be able to connect to the people that I'm here to serve. They have to, it's kind of like these things that happened to me in the past that I still carry in my energy are a light beacon to show people, hey, this guy gets you. He's been through it. He
Exactly.
understands you. And if I try to hide that past and try to pretend like that past doesn't exist and I'm just an overnight sensation with all of this money and all of this stuff right now, then nobody can find me. Nobody can connect to me. They want to connect to the real human who has experiences similar to theirs, who they know gets them.
You totally answered the question of, has your authenticity and vulnerability helped you attract the client that you want? So you definitely, that was beautiful. That was amazing what you just said. Perfect.
Yeah.
You also talk about the darkness. Like you're a fan of the darkness, because that's where you shed light. You talk about that, and you also talk about, or you write about it too, that really embracing your uniqueness and your purpose is freeing. It's sort of what, can you talk a little bit about how the darkness can light your path for your purpose?
Yeah. So that darkness is really important because it's a place of creating energy. We need friction to be able to kind of create enough energy to take off. And in that dark place, a lot of things are happening and we feel like nothing is happening, but a lot is happening underneath the surface that is creating the energy for us to take off. In that dark place, there's a lot of fear. And I always talk about fear is the most like underutilized energy on this planet. Fear gives us access to vibrations of unconditional love, of abundance, because to experience the vibration of unconditional love, we have to love something that we would normally put conditions on. So fear is something that we put a lot of conditions on, that we won't love whatever it is until the fear is gone. So if we don't experience fear, we don't experience the opportunity to experience unconditional love. So when fear comes and we work with the parts of us that are afraid, we work with the parts of us that we've learned to abandon because they're afraid, they're sad, they're grieving, they're whatever, and we can find love for them, that catapults us instantaneously into a new vibration. And that new vibration is unconditional love. And you know what else is in the vibration of unconditional love? Unlimited wealth, abundance, bliss, pleasure. It's all there. So we need that dark. We don't have to sit in that dark forever, but we need the energy of that dark so that we can catapult ourselves into a vibration that's even higher than what we're experiencing in the present moment.
Oh, I love this. Is this maybe connected then? People tend to feel trust for someone who shares their authentic self. They feel trust when someone's vulnerable, and in business specifically. Someone shares their true story, their vulnerability, authenticity, trust is built. Tell us, what do you think is why do you think we trust people that do that?
Yeah, because the thing is, we're coming out of it's more so now, I feel like we're coming out of a phase where we're seeking perfection, where we wanted the perfect bodies, we wanted the perfect lifestyle. And so we would look to people who we thought embodied that perfection. And in that time, it was important for those gurus, those celebrities, whatever, to hide all of their imperfections because everybody wanted to be perfect. And so now we're in an age where you can, there's live video for every single social media platform. And if you're not doing live videos, then you're not living your human existence. Live videos, you're getting a look at the behind the scenes of people's lives. You're getting a real look at who they are rather than just the polished, pretty version of them. And so right now as a people, we're getting rid of this need to be perfect, and we're replacing that with a need to connect to real human beings. And so when we connect to real human beings, we trust them because they're satisfying the need that we have right now, which is a need for connection. We're able to see ourselves in them. We're able to see that they're not just, this idea of perfection that we had been trying to achieve for so many years that actually left us feeling very empty and very just disappointed with life because we realize we can't achieve that. We see that they're real people and they're just like us, and they may be 2 steps ahead of us, but I mean, that's all a leader needs to be. A leader needs to be 2 steps ahead of the people that they're supporting. And so, yeah, I'm loving this kind of this age of live video where everybody's doing live streams and showing what their life really is like. And it's just amazing.
Oh, I love that you just said that. It's yesterday on the fly after an interview, I decided to take the thing and actually turn my thing around. We could see all my whole studio and blah, 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 and my dog, and it's a mess. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And suddenly I felt closer. I felt better. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing all these videos about like, set this up so nice and da, 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 da. And then as soon as I turned it around and as soon as I got messy, as soon as I put my glasses on, as soon as I was surprised that like I felt like connected again.
Yeah, exactly. And the people who watch that, they're like, at first they can see the pretty background and everything, like, oh, I can't do this. My house is a mess. I can't do this. And you turn it around and they're like, oh my God, she's like me. I can do this. I can do this. So it's inspiring. It gives people hope. It shows people that they can do things too, because they don't have to be this superhuman being to be able to achieve anything. You can be a regular person.
Yes.
And achieve everything.
Tell us a little bit about your writing, your true story, being vulnerable in writing. Because one of the blocks that I find some of my clients have is that it's great to talk about. You can delete a live feed. You can talk in front of a group, but when you start to write it down, I think it slows you down a little bit. And sometimes you're like, it just feels so real. I'm scared.
Yeah.
What's the difference between writing your true story and have you ever felt blocked? How do you deal with those blocks? Or talk a little about your writing.
Yeah. When I write, it feels so much more permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like everybody can see this, read this for all of eternity. Like videos, I feel like they just kind of get lost in like the sea of other content that is created. But writing is something that feels like it's eternal. And I've gone through a process where I used to write for online publications monthly, like publishing 3 or 4 articles a month. And I'll never forget the first article that I wrote that got, oh my goodness, I got so much hate mail, so many trolls. People were comparing me to the terrorists who took down the towers in 9/11. And it was an article talking about what I learned when I got fleas in Mexico. It just learning that, yeah, I know they were tearing me apart, and I went into this cave and I was like, I'm never doing this again. Wow. I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing this again. It was so hard. But then I finally realized that many of these people who were afraid to share our stories with because we're afraid that they're going to troll us or they're going to be mean to us or reject us, they're just mirroring back their own insecurities. Okay. And they're mirroring to me parts of me that still are insecure about who I am. And they're giving me an opportunity to meet this part of me that still gets hurt when others reject me. And so I was able to meet this little Lloyd who, brought home a painting from 4th grade and his parents didn't want to put it on the refrigerator, who now, that same pattern continues when people don't like my work. I turn into a 4-year-old, where I just go into a cave. Now I have a relationship with him thanks to these people who triggered that younger version of me so that I can build a relationship. Now I can write, I can go on live stream, and it's very rare that I get a comment that'll kind of throw me off. And since, like, especially with like Facebook ads, I write my story a lot in my Facebook ads, and like thousands and thousands and thousands of people see these ads. And I get like the last funny one that I got was some guy. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. The guy, he said, he put a picture of a doctor, and he said something like, the meme said, I know this fucker's diagnosis. He's a wanker, or something. Yeah, something stupid like that. And I just cracked up. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And the post that I shared was super vulnerable. It was about how I went broke and was homeless, you know? And
Wow.
that was how he responded. And just because I have such a close relationship with that part of me that gets triggered by rejection, I'm now able to see him really quickly and be like, because at first I was like, but then I saw him and I was like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here with you. I'm here with you. What do you need from me? How can I support you right now?
Yeah, and the universe obviously was, I think, being a trickster, funny guy at that point. You know what I mean? The
Right.
universe is sort of like, are you going to see the word wanker, or are you going to see this other crap? You know, like, come on, I'm messing with you here, Lloyd. And then you have
Exactly.
that opportunity to like laugh and put it on an interview and be like, I got this. I got this.
Exactly. Exactly. I ended up taking a screenshot and sending it to my private Facebook group. I put it on my Facebook page
Oh,
and
nice. Yeah. You know, when I was in when I got my MFA, and I went in for fiction, I came out with nonfiction and poetry. So it was kind of an ironic shift. Never thought that would happen. And I remember asking my professors about article. We were just shooting the shit, and they said, "Well, you'll know you really made it as soon as you start getting hate mail."
yeah.
Yeah, like, and they're like,
Yeah.
everybody just thinks you're okay. You're not doing your job. You know, like,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's because the thing is you want to trigger a response
yeah,
in people. You want to shake them, you want to jar them. That's what we all want. We want to see something different. We want to feel. And so
that's
yeah,
great.
the more jarring and triggering the work you put out there, the more space there is for evolution and expansion.
Now let's reverse that for people out there. Your writing, specifically, you just said, even in ads, websites, blogs, articles, has brought you way more in terms of attracting clients and people to work with than those little wanker comments. You know
Oh
what
my goodness, yes. Like, I mean, I remember the article that got the 9/11 comment. It was very controversial. The article wasn't, but like for some reason the people interpreted it that way. But I also had like I would say 700 opt-ins from
I mean?
that article. So it's like, yeah, thousands of people are going to see it.
Yeah.
Some people are going to hate it, but there are a lot of others that will resonate and will find me through my writing. It's like I'm not hiding anymore. I'm putting
Yeah,
my work out there. I'm putting my story out there.
totally. I love this. What advice would you have to someone who's a bit frozen, knows they want to share their story, totally gets it,
Mm-hmm.
they're moving, they're needing some guidance on how to get past that fear of judgment?
Yeah. Start talking about the fear of judgment and being frozen. Make that what you write about. It's what's there in the present moment. It's what wants to be honored. To write a piece about being frozen, and what that feels like.
I love this. This is great. That was you were on that. You didn't even have a breath in there. You're like, I got this. This is what I do. This is what I do.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things in coaching is when I ask somebody a question to help them inquire deeply in their heart or in their soul, and they say, "I don't know," and they think that shuts down the whole process, that they don't know, and then immediately I just say, "How's that make you feel to not know?" And then that
Ooh.
ignites the process because they're pissed at themselves that they don't know. They feel like they're never going to get anything, and so you just take whatever is there in the present moment and pull at the thread.
Oh, I love this. Awesome. Very good.
Mhm.
Good job. You're truly amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
So one last question. I've asked this to almost everybody, just so we understand. Would you be where you are today if you chose to not share your true story?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is probably, as I said before, it's a light beacon that attracts the people that are here to work with me. And it makes me human. And right now, as I said before as well, we're in an age where people want to connect with humans. And without my story, without the vulnerability. Granted, I don't tell parts of my story that aren't processed, that are still raw, because it's not my audience's responsibility to hold my grief with me. I'm here to support them. But without that story, there would be nothing to connect to. There would be nothing. And so my story, it's like a hook that people can connect to. It's so important in the work that I've done around um, allowing myself to tell these pieces of my story that yeah, they hurt in the moment, and I'm afraid that people will not resonate with my story or judge me for what I've been through. The work that I've done around that is just absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful for it because I've created a living based on my story.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah,
We are out of time, and I can hardly believe it. That went by so fast.
I know. I know.
You have a free gift.
I do. I do. My free gift is a training, one of my favorite trainings that a lot of people have gone through, and a lot of people love it. And some people, I get some people that are like, hey, that's terrible. But, yeah, can't please everybody, you know. I always like to tell both sides of the story. People like to just, you know, toot their own horn and say the positive, but there's always a negative side. There's some people that won't resonate. But I have a training on harnessing the power of fear, which I believe is the most underutilized energy in this universe, and how to take that power of fear, how to take that fear and make it increase your attraction power to bring in more abundance, to bring in more love, to bring in more success. So my free gift is this 90-minute training that will blow your socks off.
I love it. I can't wait to do it. I've done some of your other stuff, so I'm excited to do that one too.
Cool. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Lloyd. It's really a pleasure. And you're in San Diego. Next time I'm in San Diego, I'm going to send you a message. Let's go have lunch or something.
I love it. Definitely. I would love to connect.
Keep doing amazing work. You're a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Bye.